Hello. Look, I don't know who told you what, but no one is going to pay much for me. I'm not worth any money. Is this about the dev interview? You know, you could have just asked nicely, I would do it.
Right. Muszę wspomnieć, co to.
I can do some more.
Okay, so. Dobrý? Jo? Dobrý.
A ty jsi taky klasifikoval. Tak, 3, 2, 1, akce.
Tak. Hi, Riki. Thanks for
Hey.
agreeing. Thanks for agreeing to the interview. Yeah.
No
Okay.
problem.
Yeah. All right. So, well, you are much more cooperative than my last subject.
I tend to be cooperative because I don't want to make other people's life misery.
Right. And
I think that your life is a misery enough on its own already, so
Okay. Thank you.
I'm doing it especially for you.
Oh, right. So this is a pity interview.
You could call it.
I won't. I prefer not to. So, first question. We'll have to wait for a little bit to just keep on going. Okay, so first question. Who are you?
Yeah. Do you want the short version or the longer version?
Yes.
Oh no. Well, my name is Riki, except it's not, but let's not go into that. Just deal with it. It's a thing, it's a fact. There's not that much of an interesting things about me actually. What you probably wouldn't expect. I program games for a living, which is the only thing that I have going for me, to be honest. I mean, it's either that or playing games, which used to be cool, like 15 years ago, because there wasn't that many people gaming. I was like, oh, I have a gaming PC, my father spent a lot of money building it, and I can play all the newest games, and now we just say, I play games. I'm like, yeah, everyone else is playing games. What are you on about? Anything else I'm finding interesting about you? No. I just do make games or play games.
Well, there's not many people in the world who play the amount of games that you do. Plus, like, your games are quite specific.
Is that a call out?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Well, like, no, if I were to call you out, I would say you are a hipster and a poser for saying that gaming is not special anymore, because a lot of people do it.
I don't care. I'm just saying that I used to have this thing where I say, I'm American, I play games.
Yeah.
But now it's not the same. If I'm American, I play games. Okay, and
you develop them.
Yeah.
There's
the thing, because if you say that to people, they imagine something like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, it is, don't get me wrong, it is cool in a way, but there's still just lines of code. I mean, you could be programming anything. I love programming games, don't get me wrong, but it's not as cool as it sounds.
Mhm.
Yes, I sit in front of a computer for a few hours a day and I write the code.
You make it sound less cool than it is. I think it's pretty cool.
Because I think that people imagine that it's more cool than it is.
Okay, so I'm people.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did I offend you in a way? Are you not identifying as people? I'm sorry. I should have asked beforehand. My bad.
Yes. Well,
I'm sorry.
that went off the rails pretty quickly, but that's something that's normal for this format, I think. Yay! Can you name the PC your father built that you were talking about?
Name.
Like, talk about what PC it was. You said that your dad built.
I didn't know that much about building computers back then, so I wouldn't be able to recall what it was. But I know that, in the military, it's a thing that you are deployed for a few months, half of a year in a in a different country. So both my father and mother, they were in Iraq, in Iran for a few months, stuff like that. And you usually get compensated because you just spent half of a year in the desert risking your life, so you get a certain amount of money. And back then my father decided that he's going to spend a lot of that money into building a new computer. So I wouldn't be able to tell you what was in there, but me and my friends used to call it NASA computer because it was really like the best computer that I heard that anyone in my social cycle had. So I don't know what was in it, but we used to call it NASA computer.
You said that you were doing this since you were a kid. Were you always planning to start working in game dev?
No, actually not. It's, I would say it's a funny story, but I think that the only thing funny about it is actually me not knowing what I'm doing. But I used to be in a general high school. We call them gymnasiums, I believe, in English, but correct me on that maybe. And till 2 months before sending the applications to university, I didn't know what I was going to do. And it was always back of my head, like, I have to choose a university to go to. I have to. Like, I didn't do a specialized high school. So I really don't have any knowledge that would allow me to get a job. So I need to go to university. And the time was slowly ticking, and it was like 2 months before there's the deadline for university applications. I don't know what am I going to do. So I was looking through all the possible, universities and the programs they have, and bye
Bye.
for all the possible courses they have and everything. And I think that I was thinking about going for something like social diplomatic studies or something like that. And we had this counselor on high school. It was like we were supposed to go to him each week. So I was, or maybe 2 weeks, I don't remember. So I came there, I'm telling you, I'm thinking about doing this. And he looked at me in shock. He's like, no, don't do that. I did that. It sucks. Like, okay, and what would I do? It's like, you still play games and do something with computers. Why didn't you just go study that? And I was sitting there like, wouldn't that make me like 100% nerd? Like, I'm already doing that in my free time, so wouldn't that, I would be like nerd with a big N. Like, yeah. And then I said, well, maybe he's right. Maybe I'll just be a big nerd for the rest of my life. So I applied to university to the course I enrolled it in the end was called artificial intelligence, something. So I thought that I'm going to be doing that. And I thought that for about half of a year. And then I met a few people in the university, and I became part of a laboratory where I thought that we are going to do something, like super cool programming, something scientific stuff. And we're going to make a game. Like, what do you mean you can just make games? It's like, yeah, of course. How do you imagine the games I'm in? I don't know, it always felt like some big scary void and some supernatural people doing magic. And he's like, no, you can actually make games. We can show you how to make games. So I helped on a project they had for some subject that I wasn't part of, so I was just doing it in my free time. And I was like, man, this is fun. I could be doing that. I was like, yes, you could be doing that. Like, but don't they make all the games like in America and something like that? Can you even do it here? It's like, yeah, you can do it here. Did you ever try doing the research yourself? And no, why would I do the research when I thought in the first place that you can't do it? So that's how I made not my first game, I contributed in my first game, and from then on I thought like, okay, I'm going to spend more time doing that. So I did some like small game jams with friends and I've actually tried to do a project on my very own, but I've never finished it. But I still have the working copy of it. And I dreamed that, when I'm 60 or something, I'm going to finish it actually.
Oh, that would be cool. And did you how did you move away from like kind of deciding or finding out that creating games is cool and feasible for someone who grew up in the Czech Republic, and like finding out that it's actually possible for you? How did you get here to MFG?
I was so fed up with school. I'm not a study type. If you have the opportunity, stay in university. I'm not a good example. But I remember at the beginning, like the first university lecture you have, someone important, I don't even remember who it was anymore. Someone important came from the university and telling us, hey, there's a lot of you. And a lot of you are going to get job opportunities in like second year of studies because computer engineering is super in now, and everybody wants to have engineers because they're doing something. Don't give up on school, finish it, get a job after, it's really worth it. And I remember sitting there like, of course I'm going to finish university, I'm going to do the bachelor's degree and I'm going to do master's degree. Forward 2 years later, I'm like, oh, I hate school, I can't do this sucks so much. So I was rigorously monitoring web pages of all the companies that I knew that are in Brno. And when I saw that MADFINGER was looking for testers, not developers, but testers, I'm like, I don't care. I'm applying for this. I need to get out of this university. I hate it. I'm going to go insane. And it worked out. I think that what helped me the most is actually that I had the list of the projects that I was working on. So I had like the game jams. I had the first game that I made with friends, which was actually online. It was supposed to be online MMORPG. It wasn't that glorious. We were happy to play, 4 people in the same room together in the same instance, but it was something. So I sent the trailers we had for it, and there was footage for everything. And I think that's what helped me land the job. But I also had a lot of volunteering experiences. For the 2 years I was in university, every given chance I would go to these developer sessions, something like game accesses or something like that. But I would go as a volunteer because it's too expensive to get the tickets when you're a university student. So I would always apply, hey, I'm going to help. So you spend like 8 hours a day working there, helping with the stage or something, but you get to meet some cool people, you get to get some contacts, you get a few of a free time to actually do something, look around there, meet people, look at the games. So my profile, my CV in the end had like a long list of games, and then there was a long list of conferences that I volunteered in. And I'm like, of course I did everything for the last 2 years, and it worked out.
Yeah, and you're still doing that, right?
Yes.
Because like basically every month I hear you complaining about a different event you have to.
It's not
organize.
complaining. I mean, yes.
Well, okay, complaining might not be the ideal word,
Yes.
but you like you're busy with a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So
I tend to be very busy.
So you either do the local anime convention, which is the largest one. Is it in the Czech Republic
Yes,
or
it is.
in the Central Europe?
No.
No,
There
just-
are bigger ones
just
in
Czech
Europe.
Republic,
Yes.
yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're getting there.
Yeah, and you're one of the main organizers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Second of all, you do the assassin game in Brno.
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Do you do something else as well?
I used to, but
Yeah.
things come and go, so sometimes COVID killed a lot of those things. So that was a bit unfortunate. So even if it feels like COVID ended, 2 years ago-ish, a lot of the actions I was part of are actually returning now, because it was like the first year after COVID, not many people wanted to, do something actually. And now then there's like 2 years, it looks like, okay, epidemic is really gone, we can actually start doing things. So now some of the things that were postponed for the past 3-4 years are actually starting again. Like you said, Assassin, that didn't happen for 4 years, I think, 3. I might be lying.
Yeah, well, it's an event where you have to approach random people on the street, so that's not great in COVID times, and kind of touch them also.
Yes.
With a toothbrush.
But it's a great way to get to know people.
Oh right, I just killed you. Let's have a drink.
Yes.
All right, I might try it.
I mean, yes, but there's also opportunities to meet with others. Like there's the in-game events when you actually don't kill each other, you just hang around or do stuff.
Okay. Right.
But I started to do these things in even before university, but mostly in university, because you don't get that much time because you're in university, and let me tell you, computer engineering sucks. I'm sorry, but the university was really a bad period of time in my life. So you don't have time, you have to do school stuff all the time, so you're very excited that the game works in a way that it's incorporated in your life. So you don't do that much of things that you wouldn't be doing normally, but at the same time, while living your regular life and going to school, you're actually playing the game.
I think these interviews it seems like it's gonna be like a running gag, just people sitting here and complaining about their studies because yeah.
I was a bit worried about that when I applied here, because I remember that my CV had like, okay, I'm planning to discontinue these studies, and I was like, maybe it's bad, maybe they would prefer someone who actually finished university. And then I remember that during the whole interview, no one even asked, or not even touched the topic of like the degree I have or anything. And I thought that maybe it was just my case, because I had that I discontinued it, so maybe they didn't want to ask about it. But then I met other people in the company, and I've realized that maybe even bigger half of the population we have here in company are people that actually dropped out or decided to not finish university because they just didn't like university.
Yeah, so that's gonna be an often topic here, I
Yeah,
guess.
definitely.
Yeah.
It's a trauma at
Yeah.
this point.
And is there anything, any other like stories or like memories about the onboarding process, or like getting hired in MADFINGER Games?
Well, I
Something
remember
interesting?
that, do you know this? I got better at it. I don't have an issue with it anymore, but those 3 and something years ago when I applied, I was really scared of picking up unknown numbers. I'm better at it now. I've decided that I hate it. Like, what's the issue? I can pick up unknown numbers. Like, what is the other person on the other side going to do to me if something? But so I started picking unknown numbers, but I didn't do it back then. And the HR from MADFINGER actually called me, and they called me like 3 times, and I saw the call. It's not like that I was unavailable. I just didn't pick it up because it's a random number. I'm not going to pick it up. Looking at it back, I'm stupid. I knew that I applied for a job, so I should be looking out for something like that. I just never realized that they're going to call you. I never had a job before. I never had a full-time job before that. I used to do some part-time things while at university. So I didn't realize that they're going to call you. And then I was fortunate that they actually sent me a text saying, hey, we've tried to reach you. Is there any time where we should try to call you? Like something that would fit your schedule. I'm like, I have to come up with an excuse. Why didn't I pick some? Yeah, I'm sorry. I was out of signal because I was, somewhere in mountains. No, I wasn't. I just didn't pick up, and I didn't know what to tell the HR lady back. I'm like, I didn't pick up because I don't want to pick up unknown numbers. So then I knew that she's going to call me at a certain time, so it worked out. But yeah, the first 3 times when MADFINGER tried to reach me, I was like, no, unknown number, no.
That's fun. Like my process, like my reasoning for starting to work here were quite similar to yours. Like I worked in banking for 3 years, and I got super depressed, so I was looking for something else, and I like ran into the MADFINGER Games post on LinkedIn. I immediately sent my CV, and the moment HR called me to invite me to the interview, I quit my job. I gave my notice that I'm quitting.
It was a bit easier for me because I was still in university, and if it didn't work out, I just wouldn't leave university, but I really wanted to.
Yeah.
I was considering even, taking a different job just to be able to leave university, but it worked out.
Speaking of which, and you also kind of started talking about that. What jobs did you have before you started working at MADFINGER Games?
I had exactly 1 job before I started working at MADFINGER Games, and I used to work at a bar. I used to do part-time as a bartender in a bar that was close to my university, and yeah, it was a wild period of. And you know how it is. It's university, of course. You've been to university. You know how it is. What I liked about it was actually that it was super easy to fit into your schedule, because my school would usually start 10 a.m. Let's say I didn't have any early lessons, maybe 1. And your school would usually end at 4 p.m., something like that, and then you would go to work at 6 p.m. because that's where bar opens. So it was super easy to fit, like, during the day you do school, and during the night you work in a bar. And I was living close to the bar, so even if the shift was still like 2 a.m., I was still okay, because I had it like 10 minutes back to my place, and then the university was like 5 minutes to my place, so it was this continual cycle of things. There's the fun thing about that is, before I started working at the bar, it was a bar. It was called like e-gaming bar. The thing is that it was founded by it was founded by two brothers, and one of them used to professionally play League of Legends.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I think that he might be still doing that, but fact checked on that. I don't know. I
I
haven't
think
heard
there
about
was
him for
some
a long time.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
He was like the first Czech pro
Yes.
player in League of Legends.
Yes,
right?
yes, he
Yeah,
was.
yeah, Fries.
So he and his brother, his twin brother, made the bar.
Mhm.
So I was working there. So I was, I came, I wrote them. I think they were actually hiring through Facebook. So I just like wrote to them message like, hey, I would be interested. You know, I don't have that much experience in that, but I do that and that. And I came for the interviews. Like, okay, so have you ever done this? I'm like, no, but you know, I'm excited to learn it. I would really like to learn it. Actually, it sounds fun making drinks. Like, okay, do you play games? yeah, I do. That's like the only thing I do. Like, I do want to talk about some games. Like, oh yes. Back then we were playing Overwatch a lot because Overwatch was a thing back then, which is not anymore, which is sad, but let's not go there. So on the interview, I think that I spent like 5 minutes talking about the actual job, and then we were talking like half an hour about Overwatch. Because he was interviewing me and the other guy who ended up being hired. We both ended up being hired. So it was like us three, the recruiter, me, and the guy, and we were talking about Overwatch. So that's what landed me the job. But I didn't drink before I did. Like, yeah. Before I started working at the bar, I never drank before. Like at all. Maybe I've tasted something, but I knew that I'm super lightweight. I knew that just a bit of the, you know, some small shots, small drink can get me not wasted, but I have to be careful. Like when I go drinking with a group of people, at the point when everyone around the table is at their first drink, I should be finishing my first if I want to, you know, keep up the pace with everyone else. So on one of the first shifts I had, the first few shifts, we didn't have them alone, but there was always someone who was at the bar for a longer period of time and was like, show us. So it was like a trainee shift, let's say. And before the shift started, he was like, okay, I'm going to teach you some of we had like significant shots. They were messy, it was something spicy and something super bad. It was this sort of challenge me drink. When you were, you know, talking some shit with your friend, it's like, okay, yeah, so who can drink more of those? So you were drinking some of those nasty things. And he was like, I'm going to teach you this one. It was called Diablo. And it had sriracha in it, and it had the chili lime.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
And it was very bad. And it had like a lot of different alcohol in it. And he's like, okay, I'm going to teach you. So we did it. It looked nice. I'm like, okay. Yeah, so now drink it, and then we will start the shift. I was sitting there, drink it. I mean, you have to know how it tastes like, okay.
I can imagine.
So I drank it. Like, I have to drink it. It's my job to actually drink this shot. So I think it was bad. My mouth was on fire because of all the chili that was there. And for the first 5 minutes, it was okay. Well, okay, I can do this. And 5 minutes later, the bar was starting to open up. I had to sit down, like, oh no, fuck, I'm drunk. My first shift is starting and I'm drunk. What am I going to do? Fortunately, I think that it was Tuesday or Wednesday, so there wasn't that many people. And there was still the other guy who was teaching me, so he helped me. But for the first 30 to 40 minutes, I couldn't do anything because my head was spinning from that one shot that I had.
Okay. Well, like when you work in a bar for a long time, you kind of learn how to be a professional alcoholic.
I started drinking a lot.
Mm.
A lot. It comes with the job, I'm afraid.
Yeah, like eventually you can't do it without being drunk because like drunk people are not fun to be around when you're sober.
When I stopped working there, I started drinking less. It's just that.
So back to MADFINGER Games. What are you working on right now? Like, could you explain?
I can try to explain.
Okay, explain it to me like a 5-year-old.
Can I get like some lollipops and stuff so I could maybe, you know, show you around now? Okay.
No, you pretend that I am the 5-year-old, not that you are the 5-year.
No, my explaining is on the level of 5 years old.
Right.
I've tried to explain my job to a few people multiple times. Yeah. And to this day, even I've been working here for more than 3 years, and my mother still doesn't believe me that making games is what's my living. But
yeah, I would offer you some crayons, but we just hired a marine, so we ran out of them.
Oh, okay. Well, I work on something that is called online services. So I work on online programming. I do the part of programming that connects you as the player with the other players. Examples of that would be persisting some data. So imagine your profile in the game. You jump into the game, you have something in your inventory, you do stuff with it, you lose something, you get something new, you turn off the game, and the next time you log in into the game, the things are still there. And one of my jobs is to actually make sure that in between your sessions, somewhere in a magical cloud, your data is stored. So every time you return to the game, your things are there. And this is not just, it's the things you have in your inventory, it's your character, it's things like messages, friends, squads, etc., etc.
Well, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It sounds like it's a lot, it's a long list, but it's not that hard to, implement.
I can't call him a wild dev because he's one of the founders of the company.
Wild founder appeared.
Wild founder appeared, yeah. Yeah. So, and if we are already talking about a game, which aspect of the game are you looking forward to the most? Is there anything like that really interests you about
It's definitely not the shooting.
not the shooting?
Not the shooting.
So the messenger, the item.
Yes. No. Friends. I like the friend system. I like having friends in game. Actually, the aspect that I like most about online games is the fact that the social aspect. Playing with friends. So it could be that. But if anyone from our community from Discord is going to hear it, hi, it's me. I'm the one who posts the anime stuff all the time. They know I've talked about that a few times there. The guys are there, great to chat with. I'm actually scared of weapons. I mean, we had a few experiences with the weapons during the development, so we learned something more about us. We were on the shooting range, we had the boot camp, we had the airsoft team building, and I really don't like shooting.
It's kind of scary.
It is scary.
Even for
So
me, yeah.
there was this time at the shooting range. I'm not going to able to tell you what kind of gun it is because I'm not able to tell guns. So it's small guns and big guns for me. So it was a small gun, and it was some handgun, and there is this button that's some safety for the ammo, so it falls out. And I had my fingers somehow weirdly nervously grabbed around it, so every time I shot, the ammo would fall out. It happened like 3 times in a row. So I shot and the magazine fell out, and I was nervous already. I was scared that this happened. So I started like, whoa, what happened? And the guy is, no, the first thing I've told you is that when something happens, you lay the gun down. Because there were other people standing behind me. It was a real gun.
Yeah.
And I was stupid enough to like turn around with the gun. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That sounds like a skit from every other comedy movie or TV show.
Yeah,
that
but
has
except
guns
it was
in
in real life, and I was
Yeah.
really scared. I had a big respect from the weapons. Like, it's an interesting thing to try, definitely, but I'm not a weapons person. So I learned that about myself during development of the game. I don't like weapons and I don't like shooting. The other experience from the shooting range is that we were shooting some sort of shotgun. I don't know what it was. It looked like a shotgun. Maybe it wasn't even a shotgun. And I had a bruise after that, big like this. It was huge. It was like big as my hand is because it's probably the recoil, right? Because you shot the shotgun and it like this. So I had a bruise like that. And the third thing that happened on the shooting range is that some of the bigger weapons were too heavy for me. I'm a weakling, okay? Look at me. I have 160 centimeters. I'm small. Relatively small. So I couldn't keep up the weapon high enough to actually shoot something. So they had this metal rod that they put in the window so I could rest the part of the weapon on it so I would be able to shoot something. Yeah. But it gets funnier when I tell you that everyone from my family is in the military. I'm actually the black sheep of my family because I work on a military game, but my mother, my father, my stepfather, and now also even my younger brother, they're all in army.
Well, at least you'll be able to talk to them about something now.
Every family gathering, there has to be at least half an hour about that. So, even during Christmas, we were sitting in my grandparents' living room, everyone is gathered around, there's some food on the table, you're talking, what a year, what a Christmas, and suddenly someone starts talking about army military stuff, and everyone else joins, and then there's me and my grandmother sitting like, yeah, guns, yay. No, I have zero ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot tell weapons apart. A lot of people, when they found out that all of my family is military, they ask me, so why aren't you a military? I'm like, exactly why? Because for my whole childhood, I've seen what it is like working in an army. So that's exactly why I am not. It had an opposite effect on my brother for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the reason that all of my family is in the military. I'm not in the military. Nothing wrong with the military. I'm sure it has great perks. No.
Well, maybe if you play the game, if you play Grayson Warfare, you'll have some common topics then. Like, hate that. Like, how do you like the M4?
I'll be honest, I suck at the game.
Yeah, me too.
Like whenever we do some playtests or anything, I find out how much I do. Everyone else around me, I can beat even the AI. The AI kicks my ass.
Well, the AI is quite difficult.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so I remember from the first big playtest, the internal playtest that we had, actually rage quit because I don't know what I was exactly trying to do. I was super confused because when you go to the weapon editing, half of the time I'm not able to figure out how am I supposed to modify the weapons because not every part fit with each weapon, and there's no indication of what goes together with something. Well, you're supposed to know, I guess. So I always try to fit things that are not supposed to go into the weapon, and the game doesn't let you, of course. So I spend like half of my time trying to fit things that are not supposed to be there. And then I sit on the little bird and I try to fly off somewhere. I would always fly to the same place because I knew that I'm trying to do some quest in there. I've arrived to there was a gas station, I believe, and every time I died there. I did it like 4 times, the AI showed up or someone showed up, shot me. I didn't know where did they shoot me from, what happened, I just knew that I was dead. So I did it like 4 times and then I rage quit the game. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going back to work.
Yeah.
So I imagine that my experience in the game is going to be something like that. Seeing as I'm not much of a shooting person, I don't enjoy, the PvP shooting part of the game. I understand that it can get fun at certain conditions, but I'm not that much into that. What I like is exploring, and I know that the guys that are working on the quests and working on the world building, they are cooking up some pretty neat stuff. So I think that my favorite part of the game is just walking through the world, finding the references, the little bits of lore that's not handed to you on a plate. Like, okay, so this is the text, this is the lore, you can read about it, but it's more in a way, so there's this book laying on the table, there's this message on the computer from someone, and you piecing out together what the lore is actually like. That's my favorite part.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But right now, I'm trying to statistically find out which of the faction is going to be the underdog faction, because I've decided I'm going to insert myself into that faction and be part of the underdog faction.
Well, based on the discussions, we kind of know which one's
I'm starting to have a guess, yes.
But underdogs are cool.
Yes, that's why. You've played Pokemon Go, right?
Yes.
So there was always the underdog team there as well. I was part of it. I wasn't part of it because I knew that it was underdog team. I became part of it
underdogs
before.
because you were in there.
No. I remember roommate of mine years ago, he met someone in his university and they started talking like, okay, I'm playing Pokemon Go as well. And he's like, oh, so which team are you? I think, I don't remember the name, so there was like the red team. He's like, no, I'm not the red team. So are you the blue team? No, I'm not the blue team. So like, oh, so you're the team that eats glue. How did that happen? But somehow, if you checked all of the communities in there, somehow globally it happened that the Instinct team, the yellow one, were the stupid glue-eating underdogs, and I actually enjoyed it.
But these communities are always the best. Like the underdog teams are always
the best. So that's why I'm waiting for which of the factions is going to become the underdog community, and I'm going to insert myself in there and be part of that.
I think we'll meet each other there then.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, I kind of remember that one of my worst playtests was that I was supposed to stream the playtest like internally to those people who were in the office, and the production team, Luisa and Gosha, kind of decided that all they're gonna do during the stream is gonna be like shit talking me in the chat. So I started the game and like, what are you doing? No, just go and play. Don't like mess around with this. Go. Where are you going? Why are you going there? Why are you sprinting? Yeah, so that's I also have like not great experiences with the playtest.
I have not the only. I have this very fond memory from a playtest, but it was a very old playtest before even the word existed in a way that you know that it exists now. And there was this thing that in the base you could respawn really fast and your body would be naked if you died. And it just kept laying there on the heli. So what I did, that's for the half an hour we had the test, I just kept on dying. So I kept on doing this long line of naked dead bodies. And I was waiting, how long is it going to take someone to notice that this is what's happening in the base? So it took like 10 minutes, and I've seen in the work chat that everyone was posting screenshots like, what the hell is this? Who's doing this? What was wrong with you? So while everyone was, running around and trying shooting and everything, I did a line of bodies. I have a screenshot from there somewhere.
Yeah,
so
we have a lot of those screenshots.
I hope that we get to release things like that after the game is out, because there's some great bloopers. I mean, the bloopers with animation, sometimes what happens, or people get, their heads are bigger than the houses and stuff like that. I really hope that we can do some compilation after the game releases, because
we have to, like, for instance, there are even like internal memes about the playtests.
Yes, we have a lot of those.
Don't do this thing. MADFINGER doing this thing.
I mean, the helicopter, right? Yeah, there was a big issue with the helicopter, and there was like an instruction: don't use the helicopter in the playtest. And then everyone went ahead and used it. And I remember that the test before the test started, everyone needed to, so can we use the helicopter now?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So we have already set up that you have decided, you have kind of leaned into the positions of like being the queen of the nerds.
Yes.
Yes, you're trying to be the queen of the nerds.
I'm not trying, but
you're achieving it. No.
I've decided to embrace it. I was trying to deny it for a period of time in my life, but then I've decided, like, well, I don't know what it is what it is. But I've said it a few times already, but I've tried to establish myself as the local shitposter developer in the Discord community. And just today, I was there. I was reading the chat. I was chatting with some people, and they told me that I arrived and was like, oh, it's the anime whip guy there. I'm like, oh yeah, I did it. I'm so proud of myself.
Oh, and like, being the queen of nerds, what other hobbies do you have? Like,
I don't have any other hobbies.
You don't?
No.
Really?
Okay, I think that's... I do a bit, but it's either hard to find time for them. I read sometimes, but I'm not sure if reading that also falls into the nerd category in a way, right? Of course. Like... Yeah, I read a lot. Be it either, fantasy novels or mangas or stuff like that. I like to read, and I also read very fast. I don't know where does it come from, but there was a period of time in my elementary school where people were calling me out for pretending to read because I was flipping through the pages too fast, and I really wanted to show them that no, I'm actually reading the thing. So I started to read out loud, but you cannot read out loud as fast as you're reading in your head most of the times. So I really tried, but they just proved them more that I might be just faking it and flipping through the pages. I was super angry because I was the person in the classroom who read the most, There was one period, I was in like 5th or 6th grade, where we were writing some tests, and I finished writing the test, and it was like, we still had extra 10 minutes. So what do you do in those extra 10 minutes? You review it, you go through it again, think if you cannot think of something else. No, I put the test aside, I took a book out of my bag, and I started reading the book. That's smart. The teacher didn't like it.
Why didn't she like it?
I don't know.
That's weird. Teachers are weird.
Because it was a math test, I guess. Maybe if it was, test from Czech, I was like, I'm reading a Czech book.
So if you
see?
Okay, so if it's a math test, so if you opened a calculator and started like doing
no,
this, she would like it.
You know how they say, like, no calculators. You're never going to use calculator, me 100% of time. So a calculator, how much is 2
Fuck.
plus 2? You know when you go to this
Yeah.
point, of course you know how much is 2 plus 2. But you're in middle of something and you're going to double check what if 2 plus 2 is not 4 at that point. Well, I don't know what, there's weird constellations of stars that, so yes, I go to the calculator and do 2 plus 2 just in case.
Well, our brains are slowly deteriorating from like being addicted to this. So like soon we'll be like.
Yeah, sometimes that's me when I'm doing work. Like, there's this super cute gif. Do you know Pushing the Cat?
Yes.
Have you known it before?
Yes.
Okay. So there's this super cute gif of Pushing the Cat, like just
Mhm.
doing this in the computer, like on the keyboard. I'm like, yeah, that's me when I'm working.
Or the cat like just like over the desk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like you just write a random bunch of lines of codes and then you just pray for the best and modify them.
So this went off the rails again, the whole interview.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just one final question. You're a gamer as well. Like, what games do you play? Which games are your favorites? Except for like other than Grayzone Warfare. Of course.
Top game.
Yes.
Pre-order. What? No, we don't have pre-orders yet, sorry.
Wishlist.
Wishlist, yes. Wishlist the game. I hate that question because it's always so hard to pick just a few. A friend of mine told me that I am a fan of too many things. Like that I get easily excited when it comes to something, and then I was like, yes, you're right. I get very easily excited and I'm a fan of a lot of things. So it's hard to pick something. But from the top of my head, I think that the most often that I respond to this question, what's my favorite games, is that my favorite games is Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay.
I know that Baldur's Gate 3 just came out and it was a huge hit, but in my heart, it's always going to be Divinity Original Sin
Yeah.
2.
So in your heart, you'll always be the gaming hipster.
Is it?
Admit it. You don't like Baldur's Gate only because so many people like it.
I like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I did like it. I did enjoy it. I played it multiple times,
Mm.
multiple playthroughs. But it's Divinity Original Sin.
Okay.
Have you played Divinity Original Sin?
I haven't had the time yet.
Okay, there's a cast of really great origin characters. And what sold it to me is actually the cast of the origin characters, because the stories, I cried, I shouted, I had so much emotions just playing that.
Yeah.
But if you looked at my most played game, it's actually Team Fortress 2.
Really?
Yes, during elementary and high school, my brother was playing and he got into me. He got me into Team Fortress 2, and we spent thousands of hours of just. Actually, a lot of those thousands of hours is just trading, because later on, when I was a bit older, I got into trading, and I don't want to brag, but I was quite decent at it.
Trading?
Yes, trading.
So you made money?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
In the end, when I stopped, I sold most of the collection. I still have in inventory some, things that I have fond memories of or something like that. I didn't sell everything, but when I stopped playing, I actually sold most of the things that I had, and it actually made some decent cash. I think that it's not as active as it used to be before, because Valve did some things and not that many people actually play the game anymore. But back then, when I was doing the trading in Team Fortress was big. I think that most people that played Team Fortress were just doing it for trading and not for playing the game, actually. I did both. I did a bit of both. But I really liked... Another wild founder appeared.
Yeah, so trading.
So trading in Team Fortress, yes.
Yeah.
But that's still gaming, right?
Well, I mean, that's gambling more.
It's not gambling.
Hustling?
Look, I had these systems, and there was a lot of pages for that even back then, so you could be watching. It was a bit like stocks. I swear, because some of the key items that were being used as the currency, there was the keys, they were like the main currency you used to trade for, and something had value of 1.5 key or something like that. And you would check the pages each day, what's the price of the key, and you would go each day. The price was fluctuating, it was up, it was higher, and you knew, hey, today it's low, I'm going to buy this and this, and then you would be looking for which day to actually sell and buy different things, because the value of the different thing was higher that day. It really was like stocks.
I never imagined you as a finance bro.
Me neither, until it involved in Team Fortress 2 weapons.
And hats.
And hats, yes.
Virtual hats.
Virtual hats.
Yeah.
I'm not a finance bro. Like, that's completely, it's boring for me.
Mm.
I understand that it's hard, not in that way, but no, I don't want to deal with it. That doesn't sound like fun time. But trading for virtual hats in Team Fortress, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like this went completely off topic again. This whole interview.
Alright, I was talking about my favorite games.
It's fun though. It's the way we kind of like it here. So I think we already have like a theme now, basically like just random rambling with the devs.
Yeah.
We should call that maybe
So interviews the off topic.
OT interview.
Yeah.
That works. So thank you for being here. And
You can
well,
ask me next time, just ask. It's all that it takes.
it's not as fun. Okay.
The joke's on you, I'm into that.
I know. Okay, so bye. Okay.
Ještě nějakou rozlučku, že si udává střídnej, že se koupí do té středové kamery a říkáš thank you all.
Wishlist Grey Zone Warfare.
Right. Wishlist Grey Zone Warfare. Thank you for watching this. Bye. Yay. I think I won't edit this out. I'll just leave it. Leave the ending
Oh,
there.
yeah.
It's like